Hi you guys, it's Julie with Thoughts That Stick. Today I'm going to show you how to watercolor these little mason jars. So we're going to get started. I've used the Jar of Haunt set. It's one of the new ones in the holiday catalog. If you haven't tried an aqua painter, that's what we're going to use today. So it's a wonderful tool that you fill with water. It has a receptacle. It comes unscrewed. You fill it up, and then at the tip here, it has a nice tip that you give it a squeeze and it adds some water. So we're going to use that as our water coloring tool. And then we're going to use 3 different stamp pads: Real Red, Rich Razzleberry, Old Olive, and Slate Gray. And or Smoky Slate, excuse me. What I usually do is depress the stamp pad as you see me doing. And then when you open it up, you can see all your ink right here is ready to use and ready to watercolor with. So we're going to get started. One of the things I use too off to the side is paper towel, just to wipe off the color in between watercoloring. So the first piece I'm going to do is the little spiders, and I just stamp them inside the mason jar. And what I try to do is grab a little bit of color and depress the aqua painter so it gets pretty light. As you can see, you've got your dark and your super light. Then come right to the paper and just lightly add the color on. And you don't have to do anything special. I don't line it or anything. And then I let it sit for a few minutes and dry. And this is water-based ink, so it's going to dry pretty quick. Then go in and take your darker color, and then if you want, you can add some dark around some areas. Just grab a little more. Don't squeeze the receptacle, and then till you want it to look a certain way. And then you just set it aside and let that dry. Now, there's some ink on the end, as you can see. Take it to your paper towel and just depress a little and squeeze out the color. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab the jar with the eyeballs, as you can see here. I'm going to go ahead and take the red and dip it in the lighter portion and start coloring in the eye with it. And if you need more water, you just squeeze the receptacle and it'll add some more water for you. Okay, as simple as that. Go back in and touch the darker ink, and I just add a little in the corners. Okay. Again, you've got red on the end. Wipe it off on the paper towel. Clean that receptacle. Okay, now I'm going to grab the smoky slate. Add some water to the ink. Come back and just around the eyeballs here, add your ink, as you can see me doing. I might have missed an eyeball there. And it's okay if you go out of the lines or get close to the lines. It's watercoloring, so it looks great no matter what. Okay, now go back into the smoky slate and grab your dark section of your ink, and then just come closer in. And you can take your time doing this. I'm just doing it quick for video purposes, but you can get the idea. Get in all the little areas where, okay, and that's the eyeballs. Okay, we'll set those aside to dry. Clean off your aqua painter. Okay, and the last one is the eyeballs in the jar. And what I did with this one, I've had a few people emailing me on this. How did I do the smoky eyes? I grabbed the smoky slate, the dark part. I went right underneath the eyes here like this. He kind of looks like the Grinch to me, but anyway. Add your smoky eyes underneath. Okay, clean off your receptacle of the end of the brush. Grab your Old Olive, and this one you're going to want to add a lot of water to because it's a really deep, rich color. The one that I used, I think I used Pear Pizzazz on my sample, so I'm using Old Olive because I felt like Pear Pizzazz was too light. So color it in as you see me doing. Now I use the StazOn black ink when I'm watercoloring. That way it's all going to keep it from smearing. So we're just doing a quick job. This will lighten as it dries. Now go in and grab your darker. And then I like to go around the eyebrows. Gives them a little scary look. Okay. And around his eyes. It just kind of brings them to life. Okay. And you can go around the base here. I know I'm being a little messy, but that's okay. So as it darkens, or excuse me, as it dries, you can darken it where you want to and make him just look as spooky as ever. And really that's all to it. It's pretty easy to do. If you want it darker, you can go in areas where you already see that the stamp has been stamped for you. Use that as your shadowing guideline. It's hard for people to gauge if they've never watercolored how to do that, but if you play with it and follow the lines that the stamp images have, it'll kind of help you gauge what you're supposed to do. So this is what he looks like, and you can keep going. Sometimes I keep adding and playing with it. But anyway, that's what it looks like. Here's the card all finished. I hope that answered a lot of questions. Now I added this little plastic spider here. So that's just, I think you can see that, an added touch to the spooky card. But go out there and try some watercoloring today, girls. All right, thanks for joining me.